All right, we're gonna do the Stormblood tier list. Been a while since my Heavensward one, so we'll see if my opinions on any of the characters changed. I wish it was a little bit fuller, had more people on it, but that's, I mean, this is the best one I can find. So first and foremost is the Tataru tier. I've decided to give her her own tier, so I can just leave S tier for people I like a lot. Tataru is in her own space. She is the best character. I love her more than life itself. Moving on. Moving on from Lise. Let's go with Lord Dorito. So this motherfucker, I don't like him. He is just a snivelly, slimy piece of shit. Always trying to find ways to ingratiate himself with us. I don't like him. Plus, he's a Lalafell, and therefore everyone hates him just by existing. So, you know, that works for me. Alright. Lise. I mean, come on, chat. Literally nothing in this game is better than Lise. She's an easy S tier. Under no circumstances would she be anything besides S tier. Her personality is fantastic. We share the same mentor. We're both red mages. I mean, every scene with her always feels like it has so much like emotion, and the characters just click with each other. I think she's fantastic. All right, Alfino, I think I had him on B tier on my other tier list. I think he's moved up to A tier for me. Definitely has not broken S tier by any means, but he's definitely improved upon since Heavensward. I mean, he's grown up a bit, he's learned more, and he's actually understanding that sometimes he's an idiot and sometimes he needs help. So I think he definitely showed a lot of character growth up through Stormblood. So I think he definitely deserves a spot in A tier. Ardenwald. Ardenwald is a C. He's just such a nothing burger. I mean, he really is just like a nothing burger. He shows up, you hang out with him a bit, he's in a couple quests, but he never has any like impact on the story. The only time he was ever actually an interesting character that we got to interact with was when what was the name of the icon? One of the snake people summoned that tried to turn us. Ardenwald was helping me block the bubbles, but he sucked at that too. We had to have Fordola come in and help us. So I don't dislike Ardenwald. He just isn't interesting for me. So I'm putting him at C tier for that. All right, moving on to Isai. You gotta love to hate him, and for that, he goes in B tier. He's not the best villain. He's not the worst villain. He just is this snivelly little piece of shit that you want to deck. He doesn't make it up to A tier or S tier because he doesn't have really any gravitas to him. He doesn't have any of that like good villain energy. But he did have a pretty fucked up part to play in the story, and they made him to be disliked, which is excellent. Aulus, F tier. Literally showed up in the story for like 2 seconds. Like, I don't even know why he's on the list. He's the guy who makes the poison gas, and that's what we know. If Ardenwald is a nothing burger, he's just a nothing. There ain't no burger there. This one is troubling, though. Aramic, my sweet baby boy, was hands down S tier in Heavensward. But I'm judging him not based upon my feelings from Heavensward, but my feelings on Shadowbringers. And he's A tier now. I bumped him down from S tier. A tier would usually be good, but he was my bae. He was my number one. I love that boy. But he just didn't have a part. Like, we had a couple conversations and he was in the background a couple times. But Aramic didn't really have an impact on the story. Not to mention, he, like, in the whole talk with oh gosh, Varus, the whole talk with Varus, Aramic pretty much was like, hey, we know about bad zealotry, and then got dunked on by Varus. So he didn't really get a chance to shine in this expansion. Bunshin. Who the fuck is Bunshin? Who the fuck is Bunshin? Well, this isn't... I was hoping for lore. Yeah, I literally don't know anything about Bunshin. D. There should be like a I don't remember this person, so they really don't matter. D tier. Like, Sorobon? Fucking great. Bunshin? Who even are you? Carvalian? D tier as well. I mean, once again, just someone we don't really know about. Just kind of exists there. He's a Heavensward character. Is sad but understandable that he's not relevant outside of Ishgard. Yeah, that's like the one downside, is I feel like when we go to the next expansion, everyone kind of like loses their luster almost. Like, Aramic was such an amazing character, but then he got shuffled out for new players to have their part, which I understand. It has to happen. We have to be able to move the story forward. But I wish they'd be able to bring like those S tier characters forward to like come with us. The Enigmatic Figure, also D tier. Like, a bunch of these characters are ones that kind of pop up we don't really interact with much. Like, the Enigmatic Figure, he shows up to be like, yo, dude, knock, knock. Open the fucking gates, dude, knock, knock. I'm gonna steal the souls of your fucking friends. But he doesn't have any real part to play in the story outside of that. Estinian, S tier. Fucking S tier. Motherfucker jumps in and blows up a cannon that would kill us, comes in and saves us from Xenos at the end. Estinian, the emo fucking hot topic boy, the ex-Dragon Slayer. Are you gonna tell me Estinian isn't S tier? If anyone says Estinian isn't S tier, they're smoking some reefer, is what I'm saying. Estinian is bae. Estinian S tier, no question. Exactly, Dolphin. There was nothing that would put Estinian down. He destroyed an entire like fucking railgun that was gonna blow us up. God, Estinian's so fucking cool. And I mean, this list doesn't include Shadowbringers, but he's equally as cool in Shadowbringers so far. Now, Fordola. Let's talk about Fordola. Fordola is a very interesting character. Exarch is in my top 5 characters, but he's not really character into Shadowbringers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, these characters weren't really much of anything in the game. But Fordola is a very interesting character. Probably, if it's hard to say 100%, but she might be my favorite character of the expansion. I think her dialogue, written amazing. Her voice actress, flawless. Just the delivery of the lines, the passion, everything was given to that character from that voice actress. They lived that character. Amazing. Like, the fact that Final Fantasy didn't fall into the trap of the redeemable villain, where the villain stuff is all just forgiven and they're part of the team now and yippee-ki-yay. Fordola's still a villain. Fordola's still someone who they're never going to forgive. Fordola still is going to live with that for the rest of her life. But she followed her own beliefs. She followed what she thought would be best. Even to the point of turning it around and changing it at the end. Fordola, S tier. I can't put her above Lise, but I think Fordola has a comfortable spot right here, right now. One of the best written characters in Final Fantasy XIV so far. She's your third favorite in Shadowbringers after Lise? Or Stormblood, not Shadowbringers, Jesus. She's the third favorite in Shadowbringers after Lise. Yeah, she's so good. Fordola's a great twist in the villain redemption. Exactly. Because that's a trope I thought they were going to fall into. I thought Fordola was going to be like oh, she's good now. But they didn't. They took what she did, and they didn't let us forget. which is very, very powerful, because not a lot of stories have the guts to do that. They don't want to address that part because they just want to have that character be good now. Gaius for now is B tier for me. Showed up at the end. He had some cool scenes with Alfino. He had the whole like rescuing him and shooting like whole planes down with his gun, the destruction of Black Rose, and him like bringing Alfino back. I think he had a lot of cool stuff about his character, a lot of interesting kind of dualities between the man we fought before and the man who's seen what reality is under the Ascians. The problem is he didn't have enough screen time to really develop that. He kind of just was the end of the expansion. So I definitely feel like he's going to be very interesting come Shadowbringers. But I think he can't get put higher than a B, because he was just, like I said, like Isai, a solid character, but not a lot of depth. Which I think is what places him there. Gosetsu. The GOAT. Such a good character. Such a goddamn good character. I just have one problem with him. And this is one of my pet peeves. One of my big pet peeves is when they kill someone, they use that death to progress the story, to make the players feel that tragedy, to make that be the impetus for the coming change. And then they just revive them. No explanation besides like, and then they lived. Oh, the floor collapsed when the roof did, and we got washed away, and we're on an island, and we found, like, I don't want to hold that against his character, and I love his interaction with Tsuyu. I don't want him to be dead. I just hate the fact that that trope was used with such a good character, because I felt it. I felt that pain. I felt the sadness of Gosetsu dying in that scene. And then it just kind of got reversed. They did the Marvel. They brought him back to life. And even though this hurts me to do, I can't put him in S tier because of that. And I understand if people don't agree with me on that. This is my thing. This is my pet peeve. But I'm going to give him top of A tier. He deserves that. He deserves top of A tier. I just can't put him in S. I can't. This fucker. Grinhart. F tier. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he the fucking comedic relief villain? He shows up, gets his butt beat, and he's like, I'm gonna escape now. Team Rocket's blasting off again. And he always has that goddamn band-aid on his face with his dumb rosy cheeks. I don't get why he's in the story. I just think like the developers liked him, maybe. He literally has had no impact on anything. He's just there to be like, tee-hee, look at this dumb funny villain. I don't know. It must be mundane day. Yeah, exactly, Kane. So 100% F tier. There's no way I can be convinced that he's not F tier. Maybe in Shadowbringers something happens with him, maybe. But for now, he's just a useless character. 99% of the way with you on that, but I think him not dying there and getting the resolution he wanted actually makes him a better character. I agree, Iron. That's why I'm so conflicted. I think 100% him being alive makes the story better. His resolution of the story is fantastic. I want all of that, but without the cheap, like, it's just cheap emotion. It's meaningless emotion. Like, he is a character, Gosetsu, did not deserve that. He didn't deserve to be used as like a pawn to make people feel sad. And like I said, it's my pet peeve. I'm glad he's alive. I'm glad the story resolved. I think he is an amazing character. It's just he got fucked. Is that the developers like, we need the players to feel sad, but they couldn't stick to that. And that's something that I, as someone who loves stories, can't stand. The same thing with Nanamo. I love Nanamo, but they did the fake out death on her too. I don't know. I might just be like even more up in arms against that kind of thing because I'm reading One Piece, and there's so much of that in One Piece of, oh no, they're dead, but not really. All right. That's my rant. Let's move on to Hancock. I think Hancock is a B tier, mostly because I just like voicing him. I like the voice I gave him and the fact that he's a weeaboo. Other than that, he's pretty much just like there to serve as a device to get us to the next plot point. Like, oh, I have a connection to this place, let me get you there. Or I have some information, let me give it to you. He didn't have that much of a role in the story beside being like the connecting piece. I still think he's a fun character, and I think that I really like the fact that they went full on like weeaboo for him in his dumb fucking sunglasses. But same with Gaius and Isai. I think he definitely deserves B tier. I would hate Metal Gear then. Fair. Yeah, I imagine you do that a lot. See where you come from, but I'd say the same about Ysael, but she just gets to not do anything in the story ever again. What? Did they bring back Ysael? Did I get spoilered? Did I miss that? I'm pretty sure I haven't seen anything about Ysael being alive now. I don't know. Yen, baby. S tier. S tier. Love this boy. Voice actor, amazing. His accent, incredible. I love it. I love it. Just fantastic. Design-wise, I love the asymmetrical style of his vest, his sheath, and the guard on his katana. Incredible looking. And then him as the character. The first time we meet him, I think his line is, so what'll it be? Rebellion or my head? Or like, basically saying like, if my people don't want to rebel, I will give myself up. And that kind of dedication to his people and to making sure they're safe and taken care of is what really like makes him such a great character for me. He's what a ruler should be. Oh, thank you, Iron. Okay, that makes sense. Using her death as a cheap tool to make people feel emotion. Yeah, she didn't need to die. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%, Iron. Ysael didn't need to die, or if she did, it shouldn't be like, I'm gonna stop some guns on this ship. But yeah, Hien is definitely S tier for me. I think he's an incredibly well-written character, and how he's pretty much... he's a through line throughout the entire story. A lot of the people that were in Alamigo weren't really that connected with the story, aside from like Fordola and Lise. But like Yugiri, Hien, oh my god, I can't remember their names. Sadu, like they had like these threads that connected them through the rest of the story, while Alamigo didn't have much. That's a good point, Kane. I meant more like giving her an impactful, meaningful death, not just like killing her. But I see what you mean. Isai. I think he's top of B tier for me. Isai is kind of like the voice of the people in Doma. He's the mouthpiece that we kind of get to see all of the unrest, the inability to understand that they can free themselves, the fear. Isai and his sister, I think, really embody that, and they're kind of the point of contact where we meet the first real citizen of Doma, the first real example of what the Empire has done to the populace. Not to mention his slow change from being against the war to rising up and even confronting Xenos. I mean, he shot a fucking arrow at Xenos. That at least deserves B tier. Anyone who could shoot a fucking arrow at Xenos and not pee their pants deserves B tier. At least. Kane Senna, F tier. Why does she exist? She has like 3 lines every expansion. Just why? I'm sure she has some really cool lore that I'm just not aware of. But she just doesn't do anything, ever. Balls of Steel was like Isai develops? Exactly. Exactly. Alright, Kryl. My beautiful girl, Kryl. Where do I put you? Here. She's definitely S tier. I almost want to put like a Tataru Kryl thing up here just because I love them so much no matter what. But I don't think she can be higher up on S tier simply because, like, the first half of the expansion, she was, you know, tending to the wounded and not present, and then she was captured. But, like, the whole part of the expansion where, you know, her echo was being siphoned off to power up, like, Fordola, and the fact that they're creating this laboratory with trying to create this artificial echo. And man, she's just so sassy. I love Kryl. I just wish she was in the expansion more. Poor Kane said they're always getting shafted in terms of screen time ability to do things. I don't think she's done a single thing since Her Realm Reborn. Like, unless I'm like smoking reefer, I don't think she's done anything. Way higher than you expected for Kryl? Or for Kane said that she's be lower than F tier. Kryl is one of my faves. I love that girl. Lise. A tier. Yes. I like Lise more than Alfino. I'm very sad that we don't get more of Lise. I think Ida to Lise was the most incredible character growth I've seen in the game. Lise went from being Papa Limo's stupid sidekick to being this revolutionary who's trying to understand leadership and the role in her life and fighting against this like idea of who she needs to be from both a Scion perspective, a rebellion perspective, who her family was. And having her grow and develop over the course of the story from just a meathead who wants to punch things and doesn't think to an actual leader of people and leader of the revolution it was incredible. I loved her character, and her naivety and her passion really spoke to me because I am very passionate and very naive. And very gullible. So Lisa and I, we have a good connection. I think she is an excellent character in this expansion. Magni, C for Cook. All right, next. Magni, where do I put Magni? Usually around Magni, the things I like are the people that are reacting to him. Like, his character isn't all that interesting, except for his whole, like, are you my moon? And then everyone dunking on him. So as like comedic relief, as a way for other characters to be cool, I think he's a great character. But as a character himself, he's kind of just an asshole. And a cuck. So C for cuck for him. Lise is honestly great, but people really dunk on her when which is just sad. I don't get the Lise hate. I never have. Kryl's fantastic, but needed more screen time. I agree. I definitely agree. Like, same thing with Aramic. I think that they're high on the list simply because I like them as characters and people. Because, I mean, if we're going based up on, like, impact of the story and actual, like, I don't know, actual interesting moments, Aramic would be, like, D. Because he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. But I like his character so much, his voice actor, his personality. Him just being there a bit made my heart warm. So this list, you know, strangely enough, the list of my favorite characters is a little biased. I don't know. Maggie's a great punching bag. Exactly. Matoya. Above Lise, not Gosetsu. Matoya is a fantastic character. She's like the only old person in the entire fucking game. She gives me serious, like, Yubaba energy from Spirited Away. She has some like serious Studio Ghibli vibes to me, and I don't know why, but she's this sassy old lady, and she calls, I think she calls Justola a stray kitten, which is one of the best lines, and a little bit racist against Mikotes, but I think Matoya is a fantastic character, and the whole dungeon inside of her hidden cave was a really cool dungeon. The whole upside down castle. I think she was a really well handled character, and I'm really hoping she shows up more, because any screen time she has, I was always smirking. I find Lise kind of boring personally. To me, her growth happened during a period where a lot was going on. It wasn't my main focus. That's a fair critique, Dolphin. Got out for it, but have a great stream today, dude. Thanks, Kane. Thank you for hanging out, man. Thank you for doing the dungeon earlier. Maxima, similar C tier. Maxima didn't have much impact on the story. Came in pretty late. He was just there to be like, I'm a good Garlean. Let me take you to Garlemald, Alfino. And then to be like, the Black Rose is bad. Those are his only two really things, but his voice actor was cool. His design's cool. I like the motivation of the, was it Populaires? I can't remember what their name was called, but like the Garlemalds who are interested in actually being decent humans. So I think same with Ardenwald. He kind of deserves C tier. Mefred, D. Like, if I'm upset about someone's character death being used just to like progress things, like, come on. They barely even created Mefred as a character before they killed him off. It was he literally was there to be like, oh, look how scary Xenos is. He killed Mefred, that guy you went on 3 quests with. I wanted to like him more. I thought he had a good character developing. I thought he was going to be an interesting part of the story. And then they just kind of like killed him to motivate Lise and the player, I guess. He got shafted really bad. He got the expendable NPC treatment. Marowim, D tier. Only reason why she's above Kane Senna is because I like how she looks and her voice actress is cool. Doesn't do anything. Isn't interesting. Doesn't have any impact on the story. It's pretty much there for fucking Varus to dunk on. No reason for her to be in the story besides that she's a leader. Monago, probably bottom of B tier. I like that she's from the M tribe, which is just very funny. Just calling a tribe the M tribe was a fantastic choice, and I'm here to support it 100%. I may have a soft spot because I love voicing characters with a southern accent, and I gave her one. But I think she had a good part to play in the Alamigan Resistance. She kind of was a supporting role for Rauban throughout the whole war, and kind of gave off this kind of revolutionary spirit that I really appreciated. So I think she was probably like the counterpart to Isai. It's just Garlemald was way more intense in Doma for us than Alamigo. Nanamo Ulnamo. A tier. I love Nanamo. You know what? S tier. S tier. Bottom of S tier, but S tier. Her and Rauban, the story between the two of them, finding out their past, her deciding to become a ruler instead of just someone who is there to basically follow orders or try to be like naive and good. Her deciding to give Rauban the ability to return home and not being like, I need my protector. Her leading the table against Xenos, like this Lalafell in the middle, not Xenos, sorry, Varus, standing up to the leader of Garlemald, this cute fucking Lalafell. God damn, I love her. I think Nanamo is the one leader of the nations they decided to actually focus on to make story about. Like, I think Ul'dah is just spoiled a bit because of how Realm Reborn ended. Ul'dah is kind of the center point of a lot of the story, while the other, cities aren't really. So Nanamo and Rauban and Pippin and everyone from Ul'dah just get so much more screen time and have an impact on the story. I think Nanamo's a fantastic character. I'm very glad they didn't kill her. I just wish they didn't do the whole poison thing. But to freak out, how can you forget one of the best scenes in Stormblood? Yeah, yeah. It was literally, I was like A tier, and then I remembered the Rauban scene, and I was like, ooh. Seeing a Lala bias? Fucking Lord Dorito's in D tier. They just have all the good Lalas in the list. Like, the good Lalas are Tataru, Nanamo, Kryl, and Pippin. They just happen to have all 4 of these in the list. If they had fucking, what was his name? The Teleji Adeleji on the list, he'd be fucking D tier. It's just, you know, the only Lalafels that are really in the story at all are the good ones. Speaking on, Pippin. A tier. Pippin's a great character. He didn't have as much screen time towards the end of the expansion as I was hoping. He kind of like, I don't know. He was kind of in Rauban's shadow, which makes sense because, you know, Rauban's his dad, and it was kind of like him coming into the role of the leader of the Immortal Flames. So I don't think he deserves S tier, but I definitely think his character is really well written. I think his motivation to become something that his father is, to like meet the expectations of the Bull of Alamigo, to not feel like he's lesser than his father, and taking on that mantle, taking up one of the swords, becoming Nanamo's new right arm. I think Pippin is going to have a lot to develop as well. There's a lot of room for his character to become better. So he doesn't break S tier for me, but I think he's a really great character. I love all these reasons why they get S tier, and then Tataru is up there. Like, I manage money and make clothes. Exactly. That's why I made a Tataru tier, because I knew that like I'd have to explain myself, and it really just boiled down to she's cute. I like her personality. Even if she doesn't get enough screen time, she's my beautiful Tataru, and I could never put her lower than S tier. So, to make it so the list isn't weirdly fucked up by that, she has a Tataru tier. That way, no one can say anything about it. Laws are the worst or the best. There's no in between. Definitely, yeah, exactly. Either like these horrible, conniving pieces of shit that kill people and do shady business and fuck up refugees, or they're Nanamo and Kryl and Pippin. That's pretty much it. Rasho. I would put him in D tier because he's not all that interesting, but there is one part of his character that I do remember, that I do enjoy, which is what's going to put him in C tier for me, because he decided at the end, when Domo was freed, to allow his men to return to their families if he wished. That kind of compassion for the men that you have is at least a character trait. At least he was more than just the pirate with a heart of, not gold, I guess, but like fool's gold, maybe. He's definitely not as good as like Hancock or Gaius or Isai, so I don't feel comfortable putting out to B tier, but he did at least have like some memorable lines. So I think I'll put him in C. Sadu, S tier, S tier, S tier for Sadu. Sadu is the best character in the entire Aura section. She is the embodiment of fury and primal battle. Every time that woman's on screen, she is got this crazy smirk, these evil eyes, and the threat of violence. I think Sadu was probably one of the best new characters introduced, simply because she is such a personality. And plus, the culture of their people, where they believe when someone dies, they're reborn, and you can see it in their eyes, and they're named after that person. It's almost like taking the concept of reincarnation to a different tier. And exactly, S for Step On Me. That is correct, Dolphin. She does have Step On Me energy, and maybe that's creeping into my rating. Just a Lala hater, except Pippin. It's okay, Azzy. We all have our crosses to bear. Solus, I'm gonna put him top of B tier for now. Yeah, I'm putting him top of B tier for now. He didn't have much screen time. This is difficult. I'm not sure about top of B or an A tier. I think I'm going to stick with my guns on B because he is an interesting character, but he's done literally nothing besides just be like quippy and kind of like a sassy asshole. He popped up, revealed that he was the one who made Garlemald and did a lore dump, and then was sassy, and that's about it. I definitely think he's going to be a much better character in this expansion, but all he really got in Stormblood was setup. He didn't get a character, he got the setup for what the character is going to become. I can't put him up on A tier because of that, but if I had to guess by what I experienced in Shadowbringers, I think he's going to be probably top of A S tier by end of Shadowbringers. I think he's going to be a great character, and I'm gonna look over at chat and see people very angry at me. The sass, remember the sass? I know he's so sassy, but come on. Sorobon, our boy Sorobon. He gets above Aramic in A tier because the trial quest line. If it wasn't for the trial quest line, which I didn't even need to do, I could have just skipped it entirely. He would just have been like a somewhat interesting merchant character that helped us out a couple times. But with the trial quest line in mind, he was a lot of comic relief. He got transformed into a giant turtle. He has the turtle spirit inhabiting his body. That's teaching him how to become basically a god. So I think he got a lot more how to phrase it. He actually got to have a story rather than just be a part of our story, if that makes sense. Like, all the good characters have their own story, and we're just touching them. Like Hien, leader of a nation, leader of people. Like, Gosetsu as a father figure. Yugiri as this kind of, like, protective force. Like, he has his own contained story, and our stories are touching. Sorobon was like, I'm a merchant who can get a ship for you. So he just kind of came into our story, and then we got rid of him. But with the trial series, I think he got his own story. He has his own plot now, his own motivations. He's going to become one of these like 1,000-year-old animals. So that's why I think I can place him in A tier. Tansui, D tier. Yeah, D tier. No, C tier. Kind of the same reason for Rasho. Both kind of were like whatever characters, but Tansui did have the like, no one would blame you for backing out of this, to like encourage Rasho to like participate and help with the rebellion. So at least they had something. They were kind of interesting. Temaloon is top of F tier because I literally can't be bothered to care about her. Like, I mean, she was the old lady of the mole tribe. All she did was really give us the quests and some lore. Like, the other one, the pink-dressed one should be on here. Was it sort of the C, maybe? I can't remember her name, but she was actually an interesting character and told me to look out for bull testicles. Thancred. Come on, dude. I want to like you so bad. You're such a cool character, but you're always either not there or you get your soul ripped out. You were the first one to have your soul ripped out, man. Come on. Come on, man. I don't feel comfortable with about that. I don't feel comfortable placing him in B tier, but he's just not part of the story. He's always like off somewhere doing a mission. We don't get to be a part of it. We don't get to see him. He pops back in for a couple cutscenes and he disappears. So I want him to be there. I want to have our Lise moment. I want to have our Alfino and Lise moment. I want to go on quests with him. But he's always like, well, I have to sneak around so you can't be with me. I don't know. I'm really hoping he gets more of the limelight in Shadowbringers, especially because I think he becomes a gunbreaker in this expansion, if the trailer's to be believed, and he's like holding Miniphilia's arm and running her around. So I'm really hoping he gets time to actually develop in this game, in Shadowbringers. He's got shit to do, I guess. Yeah, he's got off-screen shit to do, which is fine. Urian J continues to do nothing, expansion after expansion. I think he like gave Alice a sword. Did he do anything else in the expansion? I'm gonna leave him at C tier for now. Chat, if you can think of anything he did in the expansion, put it in chat, I guess, because I literally can't remember anything besides him giving Alice a cool pink sword. Varus, baby. In terms of character, I think Varus is top of A. I think Varus is a fantastic villain. I think his kind of warring against the fact that his country has been created by the Guardians, how he's being forced to kind of participate in their calamities, but how he still wants to rage against them, to have the fight of man uniting against the Ascians and taking over. I think he's a very well written villain, especially with his interactions with Solus. I think one of the funniest scenes in Stormblood was him shooting Solus in the chest. just pop. Urianchi doesn't get amazing until Shadowbringers, unfortunately. He's great in Realm Reborn leading to Heavensward, and somewhere in Heavensward then he stays dormant for a while. Yeah, exactly. Like he was really cool during the Warriors of Darkness section. But then he didn't, I don't know. They just forget about him. He's the researcher guy, and that's it. Surprise Varus all of a sudden became very interesting here. Yeah, I thought, like, from what I saw of him, I thought he was just like the evil ruler guy. Which obviously it's Final Fantasy. It's not going to be that. But that's all he was for what, 3 expansions until the very end of Stormblood. And then we actually got to, talk to him, to experience it, had to parlay across the table. And he had a force to him, that force of leadership, that like when they actually have the ability to sit down and command a room. Varus has that, and that is due to his design and his voice actor. His voice actor was incredible. He definitely had that gravitas of a leader. I thought he was a bit of a mustache twirler before that all went down. Definitely like the, I'm evil, let me take over the world. I want $1 million. Yeah, Square Enix does make sympathetic villains. I agree. I very much agree. This whole expansion was full of sympathetic villains. Besides Asahi, he can burn in hell. Yotsuyu. There. What can I even fucking say about Yotsuyu? If you want to talk about having a commanding presence, the first goddamn time we saw that woman, it was in this like seaside camp where she was just coming there to order these people to kill their families to appease her like hatred of the Domans. And everything she says is dripping with this malice, this evil intent, this hatred that comes from her past. And once again, same thing with Fordola. The writers don't let her become just a victim. She is powerful. She is scary. She did these terrifying acts. And her past isn't used to excuse that. Is used to contextualize that. And that is what makes a good villain. That is what does it. Where the past is not an excuse for them. Where the past is meant to make you understand them. Yotsuyu deserved what happened. Tsuyu did not. Tsuyu was almost more tragic to me than Yotsuyu. Completely memoryless. All she knows is that there's this samurai who will protect her and that people hate her. Almost like a child living in the body. It was the only time in her life that she got to experience innocence, where she got to experience the fact that she didn't have to be in pain. And then it was ripped from her. She had to go back to herself. And it's the question, do you want to live in this blissful ignorance where you lose yourself? Or do you want to live with the tragedies that have happened to you, to remain true to yourself? And it was just, it literally made me outside of game think about that concept. How would I as a human handle that? Do I give up my trauma? Do I give up those negative experiences that have built who I am to get that peace? Or do I take that negativity and live with it? It was a really interesting question. And I think Yotsuyu was the best written character in the expansion. I love Lise. Yotsuyu, best written character in the expansion. I'm not like some other people in my chat who are like, step on me, mommy. I think she's a great character without the step on me, mommy part. You guys can have that. I think Orianchi is a good secondary character pre-Stormblood. Uninteresting in Stormblood and post-Stormblood. He's the top 5 characters. I'm looking forward to it. He really has a lot of potential, especially with his JoJo poses. I say this all the time. You don't need to understand or agree with what someone does. You only need to have to know that they would do it. Yes, have to know that they would do it and not let their reasons for doing it excuse the fact that they are doing it. Stola, you're getting the Aramic treatment, girl. You are one of my favorite characters. You were so underutilized. Everson76, thank you for the follow. How are you doing today? Hey, you came during my opinion stream, so everyone can be angry at the streamer. So Stola. Another character that I loved, like Aramic, that I loved in Heavensward. And then they just didn't have a role in Stormblood. I mean, Yashola didn't even show up till, I think, post-game. I think, like, Xenos cut her down, and we didn't see her again until the post-game questing, I think. So it hurts me not to, like, have her higher up, but I can't give her higher than A. And she's only really there because of how much I enjoyed the little I got to spend with her. Doing good? Excellent. All right, well, let's just rate Hoary Boulder. I don't know why Hoary Boulder's on the list, but I mean, he can have C. He can go next to Ardenwald. They're both basically the same character. Ardenwald has to be mad about that, but I mean, Hoary Boulder's, he's there. He does a couple of quests and he's part of the Scions. Last two. Yugiri. I'm gonna get some hate for this. I'm gonna get some real hate for this. Top of B tier. She didn't have a personality this expansion. And I don't know if that's just me, but she all she really did was go, Lord Hien, I'll do this. Lord Hien, I'll do this. Lord Hien, I'll do, like, it feels really bad to put her in B tier because I loved her in Heavensward, but she didn't do anything. She had like the one scene in the beginning where she tried to assassinate Xenos, and then after that she was pretty much just a messenger for Hien. And it's not what she deserved. I think Yugiri is a fantastic character. I just don't think they used her very well. Right, highest is B. Thank you for agreeing with my opinion. It makes me feel better. I would tell you what you get. Sorry. I would tell you what would get you fried like a tater tot in the oven for too long. But that'd be spoilers. Yugiri's a solid B plus. Also, okay. Hey Lobo, welcome to the chat. How you doing? Got 2 first-time chatters in a row. You know Iron? Well, hell yeah, Iron's a good person to know. Yugiri in Stormblood's B and Heavenward she's easy high 8. Yeah, definitely. I thought I was gonna get way more hate for this. I know there's a lot of Yugiri lovers out there. And finally, Stinos, yay, Galvis. This motherfucker. This hot ass, beautiful ass, best villain ass. Love this guy. Xenos, if it wasn't for Yotsuyu, he would be my favorite character in the expansion. I love Xenos. He gets a bad rep from people because he's like, oh, they think he's just a meathead who likes war. That's not Xenos. Xenos likes the hunt. And it's not just, oh, he likes to go out and kill people. He constructs the hunt. He created the situation where Doma and Alamigo were in. It's his fault that they're so crushed under the boots of the Empire. Why all these people are on the brink of either rebellion or destruction. He pushes them to that point specifically so he can breed the war he wants. And he goes to any lengths for it. I think Xenos is right here. Yotsuyu and Xenos are my 2 favorite characters of the expansion. And it's almost impossible for me to decide who goes top, except Yotsuyu just has so much to her and so much depth to her character that I think she deserves to be slightly higher. But Xenos, wow, what an amazing character. Xenos here, Xenos an artist, yeah. I will contest you doing Marowim dirty, but in Shadowbringers she didn't have a lot to do. Yeah, that's what it is, Lobo. I think Marowim is a great character in the earlier expansions, but like all of the leaders of the nations except for like Rauban and Nanamo didn't get like any part to play. Speaking of, why the fuck is Rauban not on the list? Wait a minute. Well, let's have an honorary Rauban. Honorary Rauban goes right above Lise and maybe in front of Matoya. Rauban goes here if he was on the list, which I don't know why you wouldn't put the bowl of motherfucking Alamigo up here, but if I had to put him, he'd probably be between Matoya and Lise. Z is how you write a static character, right? Yes. I honestly forget if she speaks in Stormblood. Marowim does. She has, I think, 3 lines when they're on the table against Varus. Like, they're discussing stuff, and she's like, well, we're a nation and we didn't decide to subjugate people. And he's like, well, what about the fucking Sahagin then? You want to kill them all. And that's pretty much all she does. Has like 3 scenes. Yeah, pretty much. All right, so I think this is a pretty good tier list. I don't think I would really want to move anyone. I think I got a pretty good first time on it. I still don't remember who the fuck Bunchin is. At all. But yeah, I think this is my list. Feel free to rage as much as you want, call me as many names as you want, but know that this is irrefutable fact because the streamer said so. Thank you.